Right. Welcome, everybody, one and all, to a potential long night. Best of five between Rivals Rejects and Jolly Rogers Kraken Skulls in this MSL Neon quarterfinals matchup. We are just setting up the lobby here, so please bear with us as we get that underway. But I'm excited. I'll be joined here shortly by CB. He's pulling double duty. He's going to be my co-caster tonight, as well as Rivals Rejects coach. But we're gonna be doing our best to keep the stream fun, um, politically neutral. No, I'm just kidding. We're probably gonna cheer on our boys here at Rivals Rejects, but uh, we'll let them know when they're playing bad too. But for those of you tuning in, welcome, welcome. Hope everyone's having a good night. The the show's gonna start here in a little bit. I'm hearing that I should be turned up. Cody is in another call. So hopefully I'm good now. Please let me know if I'm too low. But gonna be completely honest with you all. Don't know anything about Jolly Rogers Kraken Skulls. Um, honestly, don't even know what seeds our boys are at Rejects. The matchup's sure to be a fun one though. It's gonna be best of 5, hard fearless. So it's my understanding that once a champion is picked, it is no longer in the rotation. Up until the last game, in which there will be no champion bans because there have already been 40 champions taken off the table. It just goes to regular draft with no bans. My producer CB is telling me that Jolly Rogers is the 4th seed, Rivals Rejects is the 5th. So should be tightly contested. I'm sure these teams played in the regular season. Don't know what the actually I do know what the regular season record was. Rivals won the best of 3 series 2-1. So if that's any indication, it should be close. Could be a 3-2 game. But we will have to see. We're still setting up this lobby here, but for those of you that are interested, you'll see at the bottom middle part of your screen, Rival is going to be hosting our first annual Christmas Clash, December 14th. That's next Saturday. If you are interested and you are Emerald 4 or below, it's going to be kind of like a all-day event. You'll be playing anywhere between 2 and 7 games, depending on how well you do. Different formats for the amount of teams that we get to sign up, but it should be fun. If you are interested, please join the Rivals Discord. It should be linked down below. It is. You'll find everything there that you need. But just waiting on Rival Rejects mid lane. But yeah, this Christmas Clash is gonna be really fun. Put a lot of work into it, so if you're able to participate, that's awesome. Even if you're not, just tuning in, seeing how the teams are doing, that is just as good as well. Okay, they're gonna R up the draft while we're still waiting for the mid laner, so I just need the spec on my end so I can see it in real time. Let us Get this going here for you all. Nick is in here. Can drop down. Okay. We are in business, folks. Just waiting on draft to start. Bold font 2 with the subscription tier 1. Holy moly. Thank you so much, bold font. Gonna be working on stuff for subscribers, but really do appreciate your generosity as we get into this draft. Jolly Rogers on the left, Rivals Rejects on the right. The first ban for this best of 5 series is going to be Aurora, taken away from Nicholas. Nicholas. I'm just going to call him Nick. It's spelled Nicholas. Nocturne. It's going to be the answer by Rivals Rejects. Want to take away the ability to turn off the lights. Pretty good call. Kind of a game-changing ultimate if used correctly. Briar is going to be the response, so Jungler's pools being looked at and taken away for both sides. Will be interesting to see what Jolly Rogers actually decides to do for their first pick. My personal philosophy as of right now is there's not that many great traditional ADCs on the patch, in my honest opinion. So if you're on red side, I feel like you're forced to ban Ashe. Ashe is like the only good one. But we'll see if that's what Rivals Rejects decides to do. Instead, we get some rapid fire bans. Thresh and Wukong going to round out Rivals Rejects bans, while Warwick will be Jolly Rogers' final ban. And a B1 Volibear locked in. Potential flex pick. Has had its limelight in the top lane recently, but could go jungle as well. Pretty decent team fighting tool as well as pick tool. You know, you have that point and click CC in the queue. Does get really beefy depending on what type of build that Volibear wants to go. As we see Mordekaiser hovered and locked by Rivals Rejects. Gonna be interesting to see where this Mordekaiser actually goes. I do know Rivals Rejects sub top laner BKs plays it as well as the jungler in iGank. So answering flex for flex and getting Ashe on red side is very, very curious. It's my understanding that this Ashe pick is really strong. Be winnable for sure. It said Jolly Rogers options for the Volibear and the Syndra. Going to be locked in. A takeaway from Nick. An early takeaway. Can't get that the rest of this best of 5. So it'll be interesting to see how the mid laner from Rivals Rejects responds. But decent pick. Definitely blindable as we see Jin going to be locked in for the final pick of this first phase of Jolly Rogers draft. So looking at this draft right now, Jolly Rogers is kind of showing to me that they want to play for pick, right? You have lots of tools to lock people down after the initial stun by the Volibear. You got that Syndra QE, the Jin W, Zyra is going to be locked in. A classic pairing all the way back from like season 4, season 3, that Ashe to Zyra. But who knows? She's been played in the jungle recently as well, but my guess is that it is going bot lane. Look for Rivals Rejects to ban away some supports here that could prove difficult for that Ashe and Zyra bot lane. The Jin, I guess stuff like Morgana, Lux, Braum is a decent takeaway. Though I do think Braum would be bullied a little bit by the Zyra pick. It is a really good team fighter and good pairing with that Volibear. Annie is going to be the first ban of the second phase for Jolly Rogers. Don't want to see it in the hands of Rivals. As we wait for the final 5th ban to come out, and it's going to be that Morgana. So taking away some more of that pick threat as well as some safety with that black shield for the Jin or Syndra potentially, as Corki is going to be the last ban for Jolly Rogers. So I expect for mid lane to be picked here by Rivals Rejects to preserve that Mordekaiser Flex. Though CB could shock me. Vex is an interesting hover. Don't know the actual matchup between Syndra and Vex. I do know that it's really good into the Volley Bear, especially with that fear. Instead, they switch over to Swain and lock it in. I like the Swain a little bit better. Does struggle a little bit early into the Syndra, but once you get that 6, right when Syndra is coming online, you come online as well. Really good team fighter. Really good pairing with the Ashe and the Zyra as well. You're trying to run away from the Swain. The Ashe doesn't let you. You know, everything like that. But we have a Kha'Zix locked in. Okay, so Volibear going to the top lane. Kha'Zix going to be the jungler. Very interesting pick. I don't necessarily like it into what everything Rivals has shown. Everybody that's messaging me, CB is the producer. So if you have problems with the stream, message him. Get off my back. I'm just kidding. We appreciate the feedback. And then Blitz gonna be locked in. So I mean, I like the pick aspect of this comp, but the team fighting has kind of got out the window now, right? I'd like to see a strong team fight top laner or jungler. Instead, it's gonna be a split push threat in the Volibear with Kha'Zix. But I don't see a really strong 5v5, but really good, really strong pick comp coming out from Jolly Rogers is Alawi is going to be the pick. So we will see the Mordekaiser go jungle. The Alawi going to be taken into the Volibear. That last pick, we'll see what BKs can do. Uh, as we wait to get into this game, we should be joined by Cody CB here in a little bit. I'm going to ask him his thoughts about the draft, how it went, and then we will go into a quick break. I'm sure there's just talking strategy right now. But we will see. My general thoughts are this. Jolly Rogers has really, really good pick. If they're at an objective first, it's going to be kind of scary for rivals to walk into them, especially because the only like hard engage you would say is that Ashe ultimate, potentially the Zyra E, but not a lot of snap engage, right? But on the flip side, if rivals rejects is at the objective first, the same thing kind of still applies, but Jolly Rogers does have that blitz hook. So look for lots of picks and early proactivity around the map for Jolly Rogers. And then look for Rivals Rejects to kind of scale. Let the Alawi split push. Play around a strong uh, core 4. Go that 4-1 style. Alawi can team fight when needed, but going to be a menace on the side lane. I do think it is Alawi favored. Depending on what the
Mic check check.
Volibear build goes. Cody, CB, is this you? Can you hear us?
We on the air?
We are on the air.
Oh,
So you gotta put your Discord into streamer mode, brother. Everyone's messaging me saying they can hear your messages.
yeah, I got like 37 things going on right now, so
Yeah, I know, I know.
let me use my brain power of how I even do that.
But while you're doing that, obviously you're coaching Rivals Rejects in the draft here. How do you feel like draft went?
I I like it actually. Got a little, got slightly nervous. They took one of our good champs away in the first phase. But I mean, we got our top three champs on all of our players, so as
There you
far
go.
as comfort, we're chilling there. As far as the actual draft, yeah, I think you might have mentioned it. If we set up objectives first, we should be chilling. See if we can get that macro going. And I think we're in
Um,
streamer mode now,
yeah,
so we're chilling.
I definitely think it was kind of curious. The Volibear was the first pick of Jolly Rogers when that Ash has been so strong recently in terms of like traditional ADCs. I did, the Cinder takeaway was good, I think, but I was, talking about how Jolly Rogers, the 5v5 isn't necessarily the cleanest, but they do have really good pick, especially with that Blitzcrank. Whereas, your guys you have a pretty strong 4-1 comp, but both teams lack that snap engage. So, we will be going to intermission here, but do you have any final thoughts about this draft?
Uh, I'll say we knew it was Volibear going top, so we definitely didn't think we were going to get the Alawi. We did consider not using all of our best champs in the first game just because it is fearless. But we said let's try to pop them in the mouth game one. We'll see. They are higher seed than us, but we did win regular season, so it kind of evens out maybe.
There you go.
But no, we'll see.
All right. Well, with that, we will send a quick intermission and we will be back for game one of this best of five series between Jolly Rogers and Rivals Rejects. Welcome back, everybody, to this game one featuring Jolly Rogers and Rivals Rejects. Jolly Rogers, the blue team, Rivals Rejects, the red. Get strapped in, buckle up, whatever you got to do to keep your butts in the seats because this could be a long night. Best of five. So, game one early on, as we see an invade coming from Jolly Rogers. Wonder if it's snuffed out by Rivals. We see the pings there, so they will be aware that there is vision on their Raptors. But like we were saying, Jolly Rogers kind of has to get active early with the Blitzcrank pick, with the Kha'Zix. Don't let this red side team get too comfortable. So it'll be interesting to see how these junglers path early on.
Yeah, so what do you expect from the Kha'Zix compared to the Mordekaiser as far as pathing, ganks? What are we thinking?
Well, he's got decent. Kha'Zix has decent gank setup, in all three lanes. So he could look to be active early, especially, as he passed from top to bot. Maybe do a quick gank, Swain's way, try to burn some stuff like that. But, Kha'Zix really thrives when he's taken in a way that he can, disrupt the enemy jungler. Like, he wants to be in the enemy jungler's face. So maybe look for him to invade early, especially with potentially pushing top. As we see top lane getting taken a little bit low. Supposed to be about half health here, just getting spent. Ooh, big damage coming out from that volley bear ear. BK is taken very, very low. Has to flash away. First blood goes to Slippy on the volley bear.
And it looks like Slippy playing with a little bit of confidence. Since BK's is a sub, there's a little bit of a lack of team chemistry, maybe. So Slippy playing super aggressive. BK's not respecting it.
Yeah. I mean, there could be a lack of team chemistry, but I think that's just BK's maybe getting a little overconfident there. I'm thinking he hit level 2, maybe get that spirit pull. As we see Sauce just miss the root. But so far, jungler is actually mashing pathing. Opposite sides, obviously. So we see Cake. Stun onto Nicholas. Taken very low, so the Kha'Zix, of course, going to hover around, see if he can get anything done. Ping's coming out. Nicholas has to be aware. Might just have to flash away. E comes through. Hits Cake. Tim Tough actually taken down low by the tower, but we'll be able to get out scot-free.
It looks like Syndra could have gotten the kill there, either by just straight walking to the Swain with a QE or just a flash Q, but didn't want to risk it. A little bit too
Yeah, I think the Swain E actually kind of saved him a little bit, because once you're rerouted by that, you really can't do anything. So maybe just enough to get him away. Syndra not able to flash or follow up there, but we have 2 solo laners down for Rivals, or not down, but their summoner spells taking away their flashes as BK is taken very low by Slippy. He needs to be careful here. I don't think he wins this. And I think he might just go, ooh, maybe not. Gank is coming up with Ghost. Does get the E, Q comes down, but Slippy will be out. And quick 2-0 on this volley bear.
Yeah, BK is playing a little too confident, it seems, in lane. Forgetting maybe that he doesn't have flash, or maybe thinking Mordekaiser was a little bit closer than he was.
Primus throwing out the Q, does miss. Tim Tough showing on the bot side of the map, so Gank's going to take the opportunity to take away that Gromp from the enemy team. Will be interesting to see if Kha'Zix and Blitz put that pressure down on the opposing blue side. As we see little trades being thrown out between mids as BK is taking about half health, just quick succession. Nicholas taken very low, needs to dodge, cannot. Cake 22 being able to pick up that kill. As Gank taking extremely low, and this Slippy guy on volley bear proving to be a menace, almost 2v1ing.
Yeah, Jolly Rogers is in the driver's seat. They kind of have their choice of either objective on what they're going to go for. I assume they'll go for the top side, just because Ashire does have a little bit of push whenever they can get it, but I don't know, no flash on your top or mid. Surely Kha'Zix will go towards the top side.
Yeah, and I expect them to play for those grubs, especially because Volibear can be such a split-pushing menace, as BK's actually takes him pretty low, so we'll be forced to back before taking these grubs. Coupled with the fact that, the first dragon is a Chemtech, and first drag Chemtech, it's kind of sad to play for, but um, if Rivals is aware, we'll be more than willing to be able to trade for that. Has Cake actually taken really down very low. Nick kind of in command of this lane, so it'll be interesting to see with this mid lane pressure what Tim Tuff decides to do, what objective he wants to go for. But a quick 1,000 gold lead for Jolly Rogers. And Cody, you drafted this team, this Rivals Rejects team. Are you nervous, or do you feel like this is just kind of the comp? They're scaling up. They're really
It's
not that.
the comp scaling up.
Oh, the flash coming out.
Ooh.
Q coming through. Primus lands his mark. Cake also using ult. Cause is gonna be the one that picks up that kill, and that gold lead about 1.5K now.
Yeah, I mean, we played for mid to late team fights, and we are not respecting the fact that they have a Kha'Zix, a Blitzcrank, and a Volibear with a lot of confidence. So their Kraken Slayers are playing correctly, and Rivals is just playing a little too relaxed.
Cake kind of catching gank out. I think he was able to take away one of the. Nope, all grubs are still there, and so with Tim Tuff on the bot side of the map, might be able to play for this drag and then swing up top and be able to secure both these neutral objectives here early on. We'll have to see. They're actually invading to see if they can catch out gank on the wolves. Blitzcrank and Kha'Zix just waiting in the wings, and if gank doesn't sniff this out, he's going to die, and it just might be a quick death for gank. Does pop the W, trying to run away, running towards his mid laner. He goes on to Nicholas. Nick does have the ult. Unfortunately, iGame does go down. Nicholas, oh, shut down, does go down to Zyra. The snipe coming through for the Jhin. Husky going to be able to chase down, is it Primus? Probably Primus, right?
I guess so.
But either way,
Primus, PR1.
what was a looking like a 4 surefire play made by Jolly Rogers actually goes, I think, even. Correct, it was 2 for 2. With the Kha'Zix and the Blitzcrank going down for Rivals Rejects jungle and mid, and so a little bit of life breathed in the Rivals as the stun comes out from Husky, quickly cleansed by the Jhin, able to walk it off. That will be a cooldown that is unavailable for this next objective. And so far, neither jungle playing with great urgency around those neutrals.
Yeah, I'm wondering if on the side of Rivals if they realize that Jhin does have a cleanse. Zyra was not close enough to follow up with the Ashe ult being cleansed. Overall, a work trade. The bot lane. Ashe with no mana left.
Yep. Gets the shove, got a reset here, both side lanes. Back in to pick up some items as we see Nicholas, all the attention in this mid lane. Tim Tuff. Gank is here, but Nicholas goes down very quickly with that Syndra ultimate. And I don't think Gank wants to be here very much longer. The Q comes through, saves Tim Tuff potentially, but I don't think he needs saving. Gonna pick up that kill. So this Kha'Zix is out to an incredible lead, 4-1-2. The Volibear 2-0, Syndra 104. It seems like Jolly Rogers could do no wrong right now.
Yeah, Nicholas in the mid lane playing a little bit too far up with no vision. It's tough, he's getting no gold. It's been a while since I've played Swain mid. How do you feel about what he's building right now on Swain? I know he had, 4 deaths. He's been half the game in base so far.
That's true. He is opting into the Roa build, and so, if you're playing for late game, there's no better item than Roa, but, if you get it so late, the game might be over before you even fully stack it, so we'll be interested to see. It will make him beefy, so, theoretically, if Rivals is able to get to that late game, the quick kill potential from Syndra and Kha'Zix will be a little bit nullified by that, sheer amount of health that the Swain will be able to get. And it's kind of interesting, despite, as we see BK is actually stunned up by Slippy here, and despite that early 2-0 lead, the Volibear is actually down about a wave to this Alawi, and so I think BK's recognized that he was just playing the wave too fast. And once he got level 6, actually able to almost kill Slippy there. So we see Sauce face checking into the Kha'Zix, having to flash away. But that's not going to save you from a fed Kha'Zix. During that time, though, Shutdown went down 2 BKs up in the top lane as Flash ult comes out from King22. Nicholas is down. So, all said and done, let's take a check on this game state here. 3 Grubs was able to go over for Rivals Rejects, was traded for a Drake. Shutdown does go to the Alawi, going to be able to pick up 2 plates. And so, I'm looking at the gold, actually up as we see a very, the ult goes wide, actually picks off the Blitz with a random W. Tim Tuff's going to be slowed from the Zyra as well, and a shutdown coming for Husky. All of a sudden, Husky gets a ton of gold in his pocket, getting 2 kills there on an ill-advised dive from Jolly Rogers. And so Jolly Rogers might be playing a little bit too fast with that early gold lead they accrued, only up about 700 now. Does this change anything for Rivals in terms of how this game might play out?
Yeah, I think Jolly Rogers got a little bit too confident. Thought they could kind of go wherever and do whatever they wanted to. Forgot about the Ashe slows, the Zyra slows. Even if Blitz hit the pull on the Ashe, but it just wasn't enough. Ashe got the 360 no scope.
Oh, this Blitz knows that Ashe is backing in that first bush because they have all the other bushes warded. So it'll be interesting to see if. Okay, I was wondering if he would go through that Q anyways. Nick being able to stack up 0-5 definitely feels bad, but will be a team fight presence regardless. He is going to get really beefy with Roa and eventually Archangels completed. But so far the early proactivity from Jolly Rogers has, gotten themselves a gold lead. But they're going to have to, find a way to finish with it. Because I will say, Jolly Rogers doesn't have great siege. They have great pick. I mean, this is a pick comp. But their siege isn't great. Their wave clear isn't very good either. So it'll be interesting to see how they put pressure on the map as Primus finds the mark, hits Q onto Nicholas. Nicholas taking about half health. Actually finds the pull. Primus taken down very low as well. Gank going to be ghosting in to see if he can pick up the kill. As we look down bot lane, Husky just auto after auto, taking it into Jin. The Jin does fall.
Yeah, too many fights going on around the map for us to see all of them at the same time, but at least we got to see the one that actually happened.
This is gold elo to the extreme, and now, look at the gold! It's even! Rivals was down about 2K. Tim Tuff will pick up Husky here. Husky has nothing left to his name. Yeah, but the cause was already fed, It was all about letting Jin know who runs the bot lane. As K22 stuns up Sauce. Sauce will be able to walk it out. Primus fishing for a Q. Nicholas playing with fire. But in the end, nothing's going to happen. So, about 500 gold for Jolly Rogers. 5 kill lead. Unfortunately, Rivals was not able to pick up another grub, so it's going to be 3-0. Still an advantage for taking towers. Going to pick up this Rift Herald as well, and immediately dropped. Not sure why that happened.
That was an accident, or he just wanted to go on a ride. Who knows?
Well, now he's going to have to escort it into mid, and actually it should just crash. But probably not the best use of Rift Herald.
Not the best use, but at least it times well with the dragon spawning. Would have liked to have kept that a little bit longer, but we'll say it was on purpose.
As Nicholas just immediately taken down, popping what looked to be... Oh, Nick, why did you walk there? As the scuttle stolen away from Blitzcrank as well, and now we're right back to where early game was, where everything seems to go wrong for Rivals. As they know Kha'Zix is in the blue side, they don't know where, and they're afraid to look. And actually the hop away from Kha'Zix should secure safety. BK is forced to teleport to the top lane, thus guaranteeing that, you know, Rivals really shouldn't be playing for this dragon here.
Swain does have TP available.
Yeah, no ult, which scares me. Sauce taken down low, and immediately popped by Tim Tuff on this Kha'Zix. Point blank, Husky ultimate does find Tim. Will actually take down the jungler. Will fall to K22. Primus did live. And so Gank's just 3v1 and unable to kill really anybody. As he's taken so low, Primus was, but actually does escape. And so while the jungler has not, or while the neutral objective, that dragon, hasn't been secured, Tim will be the first jungler up, and it should go Jolly Roger's way. As Primus looking for Nicholas yet again, and Nicholas just feels like he's pretty much been playing 2v1 this whole game.
Yeah, I think at this point he's thinking he's 0-6. He might as well go 0-10 if it means he gets that 450 gold shutty from Syndra. So playing a little aggressive. He doesn't have ult backup. Syndra does have the ult backup.
Yeah, if I'm Rivals Rejects, I'm just saying, hey BK, get that tower top, and we'll just give this break. Does ult, but I don't think it will lead to anything, as Nicholas taking extremely low yet again from Syndra's unleashed power. Will be able to walk it off, but unfortunately, actually he does greed for the wave. Syndra calling him on his bluff, saying, "You're 1Q away, buddy," but it goes wide.
It feels like if Rivals plays as a team, the team fights are going to go in their favor, even with the 15-7 lead. But they haven't been doing that. Jolly Rogers keeps picking people out. At some point, I would like to see Rivals group together at these objectives.
Maybe one day. I will say, looking at the gold here, BK is about 800 up, and then bot lane, you know, a little over 1,000. So not all is lost for Rivals. Obviously, this Kha'Zix and Syndra pairing looking very scary. Going to be really hard to ever face check into areas which Rivals doesn't have vision. And looking at the overall vision game, it's actually been mostly dominated by Jolly Rogers, despite the fact that the assassin jungler doesn't have red trinket, but wards up and down the map. Rivals, you can tell, they're just trying to keep a vision line kind of up and down the river, which isn't a horrible thing to do, as we see Dragon started up by Rivals, actually going to go uncontested. Somehow
Blitz almost snagged it.
Yeah, Blitz almost did. That pause was me kind of gasping. I was actually looking top and mid as well. Husky was having to flash away from Tim Tuff, as we see Nicholas having to pop the ult to survive into the Volibear. Volibear actually did use the ultimate already, so I'm not going to be able to turn off the... Nick just decides to stand in the Volibear E! And Tim gets out with like 2 HP. What a tragedy. And Nick just having a tough game. One is Husky with the snipe! Oh my goodness!
That's so funny. I was looking to see if Husky had it up, and I saw that it was down. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's already down. I didn't realize he threw it.
Well, we'll trade it back, and Husky actually 6-2-0, going to be really strong on this Ashe. BK's actually hits the Test of Spirit. Cake taken down very low, having to flash away. And now will it get it? It will! The errant tentacle of Alawi shuts down Syndra, the first death of the game, and TP coming out from Slippy to deny BK's this tower. But this Alawi that started off, you know, actually just really bad, is now 2-2 and a side lane menace.
And did we expect anything differently from BK's?
No. He's the coin keeper. As he just immediately TPs as well. He wants the spot tower, and he's gonna stop at nothing to get it. So we'll see if he's punished for that. We'll see if he's not. So far, though, the the pressure has all been on Nicholas and occasionally Husky. BKs and Slippy have kind of just lived on their own island, done their own thing, and while early it went Slippy's way, it's slowly starting to go the way of the Alawi. It is an ARAM. Gank spots out Tim Tuff. Will be stunned up by the Jin. Taking about 2/3 HP. Tim Tuff go to turn. I'm not sure why Gank actually ulted the Kazakhs there. Will be taken down. So fun fact, little lesson here. Kazakhs does bonus damage when in isolation with someone. So perhaps we don't ever Mordekaiser ultimate.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's I'm about to
The
die.
snipe!
That's all I can
Husky's ultimates have been just on point, and BK is now on a killing spree. The jungler is down, but I will say Jolly Roger is doing a good job. You know, using that time that Rivals was taking to chase Tim Tuff, going to secure both top and bot towers. Mid could be picked up by Rivals rejects, and so far, I mean, it's just been punches thrown, you know, left and right. We're already at 27 kills, only in 21 minutes. The junglers have been all over the map, some more effective than others, but the dragons are even. The gold is just about even, about 500 difference between the two teams. So really, this first game of the best of 5, it's still up in the air.
Yeah, do we think this is the making of a banger series, or do we think it's this way because, I mean, we have probably 7, 8 people on their top played champion? So you want to think
Yeah, I don't know.
fearless as we go on.
We'll have to see if the quality goes down as the series goes on. But so far, it's been action-packed. Fights left and right. People doing crazy stuff. We're here for it. We're here for the long series. The sauce. Fishing. Flash Q from Prima is going to be immediately taken down. Is Sauce. That's 10 kills on this Kazakhs. The Test of Spirit does land from BKs on this Alawi, and this Volibear is having a tough time walking up. This bottom tower taking extremely low, might just go down as we see Primus in the face of iGank, going to be ulted. He is now in Brazil, but Gank really isn't able to hit anything on him. E does come through. The red was secured by iGank, but immediately taken down by a Scout of the Week from Cake22. Nicholas kind of using ult for fun. This is Baron pressure for blue side if they want to take it. However, Slippy is losing on the side lane. This tower will go down, so we'll see if BKs is able to do anything here. As Baron has started up for Jolly Rogers.
Malawi is hurting now. They come down in the macro game.
Remus is taken down extremely low on this Baron, and Sauce and Husky do just enough to get Jolly Rogers. Actually, an E comes out. Suns up Cake. Cake taken low. Primus 1 auto away. Husky flashing forward. Tim Tuff turning on Husky. Husky and Sauce able to do the job. Sauce getting the kill. Slippy TPing in. Going to take down the Ashe and the Zyra. And probably the Swain as well. We'll see if the triple kill does go the way of Slippy. And so what was going so well in terms of getting them off the Baron just kind of blows up in Rival's face. And instead, 3 members go down. But Gank and BKs have started the Dragon on the other side.
Every fight is just chaos left and right, with no direction.
Yes. Yes, that is
They
true.
are on vision here doing this Dragon. I don't think they know it.
Gatecast Smite should be secured. Now, the question is, can they get out safely? BK is trying to escort his jungler out. Gank having to pop the ghost, and both will be able to walk away. So, 2 drags to 1 in favor of Rivals Rejects. The gold advantage is in Jolly Rogers' favor. About 1,000 gold, we'll say, 900 a bit about. Really, I mean, this game, it still can be anybody's game. It's really going to come down to either A, how well the macro is played, or B, how poorly it is played. And so far, I would say it's mostly been 4 decisions from rivals that have been capitalized almost every time on by Tim Tuff and crew.
Yeah, so it's a race between. Oh, Ash with a nice little dodge. Kha'Zix says not today. At some
Yeah.
point, Rivals has to realize, hey, they have a Kha'Zix, Blitzcrank, and a Syndra. Maybe we don't go anywhere by ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing for pick, right? We talked about it before the game even started. They have incredible pick, incredible burst. As Slippy going to take this tower down very low, but it will not fall. E does connect from Nicholas. Ganks, E will connect as well. Slippy in a precarious position. Does have the ultimate available. I wonder if he's holding it for potential ult from Gank. Gank does ult. Slippy will go down and actually does find the Mordekaiser as he's in the grave. And so 1 for 1 there. This Volibear, I'm a big fan of this Volibear build. The only thing I will say is I'm not a big fan of the Cosmic Drive. I like the Roa build a little bit better just because it makes you beefier. But it's so hard to kill Volley because he has W up like every second and a half winning those kinds of fights, just healing and healing. And so looking at the side of Rivals, the only heal cut is that Thornmail on iGank. So somebody else is going to have to invest into it. Potentially could be Nick. With an Oblivion Orb, that AoE on his ultimate. Could be Husky with the autos.
Who would you prefer to see it on?
I would prefer
Zyra,
to see it on
Swain, or Ash?
Well, the Swain's been so far behind. I think Zyra just, she already has that tome there. Just complete the Oblivion Orb and then have Ash also do some heal cut there, just so Nick can actually get some more of his core items. Because he was just kind of bullied early. But honestly, I don't really care who does it as long as someone does, because if the Volibear's smart, he's just never gonna auto gank, right?
You won't have a choice if he's in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll have to see.
Then again,
my guess is that nobody other than Gank buys heal cut, but we'll see.
True. I don't know if he wants to ult the Volibear. It's 2 armor. 2 armor items, no MR.
Yeah, the game's been kind of interesting. It's kind of like the tale of opposite halves. So while the jungler mid duo of Jolly Rogers has performed, pretty admirably, the side lanes have gone the way of Rivals. You can see Tim Tuff immediately taking down Husky. Fight breaks out. Sauce will go down as well. Sniped by Sad Boy. Gank in the death realm with Tim Tuff. Tim Tuff having to flash away. Ultimate coming up from BK is landing on Noah, and Nicholas doing his best. While on the 1v1 with Slippy. Q coming out will pull BKs into the team. Flashing back over the wall. Shut down. 4 Sad Boy hours only. And a 4-0 skirmish win for Jolly Rogers, and that might break the game open as their sights are on Baron.
Yeah, it feels like if Jolly Rogers doesn't do anything crazy to throw the game, it's their game to win for sure. They're winning. I mean, even that was kind of a scuffed team fight, but somewhat of a team fight, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, Bemis and crew gonna start up this Baron. Will be spotted out by the Hawk Shot from Husky. Nicholas did get back on the map early. Was debating on whether or not to contest this Baron. They're gonna cut their losses instead, with the team and turn their sights on this dragon. And going Soul Point for a Baron trade isn't the end of the world. Buys you some time, and it looks like Jolly Rogers is going to concede that objective. Take the gold that they have not yet spent from that fight earlier. Gave the Drake up, but instead looked to push with Baron up Katara minions.
So we do have Ocean Soul in this game. Would be nice to have it on the Alawi and the Swain. Is that enough? Don't know that.
I don't know. It was so close, but now it's, about 5,000 gold lead for Jolly Rogers. And this is their PowerPoint, right? Sinja with a couple items in her pocket. Kha'Zix, with a couple items. Two very scary champs with a huge amount of bursts into a, pretty squishy team. There is some health on iGank and BKs, but it's not like they're building tons of resistances. As you see the flash Q come out from Primus and Gank, you just saw just immediately taken out by Jolly Roger's squad. And right now they're working as a unit, right? They're going through, they're working in pairs, they're working in trios, clearing out vision, capitalizing on mispositioned rivals members. And so it'll be interesting to see how much gold they're able to accrue from this Baron power play. And it's tough because there isn't that great of clear from rivals here. So they might just have to concede and allow Jolly Rogers to take this because Nicholas, Primus just choosing not to throw out the Q, having to concede that inhibitor so that they can live to fight another day.
Yeah, and Jolly Rogers just in the driver's seat, playing everything as they should. Pick comp is continuing to work, and they're gonna keep pressing with this siege of the Baron.
Yeah, it is rough out here for rivals. Now, at what point do you just start thinking, what do we got to do differently for game 2? Win or lose, what are going to be the words of encouragement? What are going to be some coaching principles you tell these guys? As you see the Q come out, land on BK's answers with an immediate ult of his own. Husky able to take down Primus. Ult coming out from Volibear to try to get away. Double kill for Husky, and rivals fighting back despite all odds.
Yeah, and it looks like rivals realized that they were just going to slowly lose the game. So they said, screw it, let's go in. And it kind of worked out. So a small breath of life for rivals, I'll say.
Yeah, I will say Primus kind of lending a hand there, pulling an Alawi in that did have ultimate was kind of ill-advised. I don't think the rest of his team was ready. So it will be a 2-for-0 trade, but the damage has been done, right? There's 4 towers left for rivals, and an inhibitor already taken, so pressure is going to be in mid. Now, they did buy themselves some time because they do have those 3 dragons, right? So, Elder Drake's not going to be on Jolly Roger's table for at least 15 minutes. So it's really going to be, can they effectively scale and can they stop getting caught out? So far, the answer has been no. But that doesn't mean they can't, wisen up and change. As we see, now they're starting to move as a unit.
If you're...
Uh-oh. Okay. Pull for an E. Tim Tuff is there. Gank taken to about
slowly
half health.
walking away.
Having to pop the shield actually does a good job self-healing with that Death's Grasp, and so we'll be able to walk away as BK somehow finds himself in the middle of it. Tim Tuff actually caught out, will be taken down by Husky. Husky on a killing spree, 10-5-2 on the Ashe. Husky's doing all he can to win this first game as BK is trying to chase down Primus and Sad Boy, but if we look and take a gander at the top lane, Volibear is pushing for free.
Yeah, Volibear pushing, the mid wave pushing by itself. Dragon is up soon. Ashe, oh, just wide right. And rivals have to make a decision here.
BK's does back. Now, Slippy is level 18, and I'm almost positive he could win the 1v1 now. But opts to play it safe because he doesn't know where everybody else is. Back off after the tower take. So, an exposed inhibitor in the top lane. As we see Gank and Sauce looking for a pick on Primus, unable to find it. They're setting up for this dragon, but I think if you're rivals, you're okay giving this one away because Volibear calls him on the bluff and actually doesn't TP. Slippy could say, hey, don't fight for the Drake. I can end the game.
Yeah, and Alawi needs it back now.
Dragon taken down. Will be secured, so that is sold for rivals, but at what cost? The backs can be stopped. Ash is going to be able to get the back off. Swain as well. Jolly Rogers could have done more to try to win this game, but unfortunately, the only person they'll be able to pick is BK's, and BK's actually picks one up for his trouble.
BK's playing
really strong.
playing very aggressive. I know he's strong, but I would think Jolly Rogers turns on the Alawi.
I think they didn't know where the rest of the team was. And so they were afraid to keep walking and chase BK's. BK's is going to probably go down as Slippy is there to stun him up. Lots of healing coming from the Alawi. 3v1 right now. Sterix pops, but oh my gosh, that was a lot of damage from Cake 22. Ult being used from that Syndra. And that Unleash power is definitely unleashed. 7, 1, and 10 on the Syndra. Still sitting on the Seeker's arm guard. So yeah, I mean, okay, Rivals Rejects able to pick themselves up Soul. Now, is that a good thing? Because the next dragon is guaranteed Elder.
I don't know. You'd like to think maybe that Jolly Rogers big brained it and gave Rivals full pride of the dragon so that they could put it on Elder.
I'm also thinking that, especially because Slippy still has the TP available, was able to pick up the inhib. Rivals Rejects mid inhibitor did respawn. But now the opposite side of the map will be under constant threat from those super dub minions. So we'll have to see how, come 5 minutes time, both teams approach this, pivotal objective.
Yeah, and you think it's just one more team fight to decide the game. Baron is spawned. Rivals has to walk into Jolly Rogers if they want to contest it.
Yeah, and they're gonna want to contest it, right? Because Flash coming out from Husky. Tim Tuff unable to take him down. Husky actually steps back in, and Tim Tuff says, "I'm still Kha'Zix, buddy." Able to take down the 10, 6, and 2 Ash. Will die for his shovel. Nicholas does pop the ult. Slippy ulting over the top. Heals on heals, on shields on shields. Prima is taken very low. Nicholas flashing in, going to secure a double kill. So, 2-for-1 trade. Husky being the only one to fall. BKs will be able to get escorted out of this Jhin ultimate. But the mid inhibitor should go down. So that will be 2 inhibitors down for Jolly Rogers to play around as the snipe comes out. Sauce taken down by the Jin's Dud Flourish. And this might be game.
Might be game. Jolly Rogers knows they have the manpower. They don't have enough minions yet.
Flash forced out of Sad Boys. And a huge ultimate coming down from Husky should result in Cake being down. Dazonia is only delaying the inevitable. And so that's a minute on this Syndra that has been such a nuisance. BK's hunting, see if he can find anybody. But does that buy them enough time?
Enough time to push out waves. There's no free Baron to be had here. It's already down to 40 seconds for that Syndra. It's just a wave clear.
BK's is playing with fire. He is very far up with nobody behind him. We'll be interested to see if they call him on it. So we'll look like they'll allow him to live. Uh-oh. Husky, what are we doing? Checking, face checking. And that's a very scary bug and a very angry bear.
Yeah, you would think 40 minutes into the game, none of the squishy champs should be walking by themselves.
Especially when you have Hawkshot available, right? Husky probably should actually invest into the far side trinket, and this might be all 3 inhibitors going down, as Rivals can really just do nothing but watch. This game is on a knife's edge. One fatal mistake could cost Rivals this first game. But man, what a first game it has been. We are now crossing over into the 40-minute mark. 33-20 is our kill score. And we're getting to the point of the game where, kills, stats, objectives, they don't matter because almost everybody's level 18, and almost everybody has at least 4 items. As this Baron is being melted by Jolly Rogers and will be secured. And so now the question is, can Rivals get priority for this Elder Dragon that is spawning in 30 seconds?
Two super minion waves and Baron on the side of Jolly Rogers.
Ooh. Swaney just goes wide on his side, boy. And Ash is like, hey guys, I need help. And I think Jolly Rogers is aware that they can just end the game. They don't have to play for this objective. As Q comes out, we'll find the Swain. Swain forces Zhonya's healing up a little bit, but should be... Oh, Q goes wide. Nicholas might be able to walk it out. Tim Tuff in the middle of everyone. That's one tower down. About a quarter of a tower left as Ash ultimate does find Tim Tuff. Tim Tuff will be slain. That's the jungler down for the next minute. But the onslaught from these minions is real. BK is actually finding the tether, flashing forward, ulting, taking Cake down to about half health. Primus doing all they can to walk out, but the slows coming out from the Iceborne Gauntlet and BK's. And now if there's a time to get this dragon for Rivals, it's probably right now.
Yeah, they do need one person to back. It is going to be the Alawi. Jolly Rogers is low. I mean, Kha'Zix is dead for another 25 seconds. Elder's up.
Yeah. I mean, this is a nice edge. Sad Boy going to pop the ultimate. You see.
Jolly Rogers is going to go for the base.
Oh, Primus is going to die. Jolly Rogers going for the base. There's two people. Ash is going back, going to help this Alawi. Cake is down to about half health. Slippy engaging onto BK's. BK's is actually healing up quite a lot. Husky is here. Cake is down and down low. Oh my gosh. Rivals foregoing the Elder Dragon. Didn't actually secure the objective to try to back and save the game, but now that might be able to secure for Jolly Rogers, and you might just be prolonging a defeat. I think the dragon needed to be secured there.
Yeah, I don't... Could two people have got it? Could the Mordekaiser and the Zyra have gotten it?
Well, I don't know how low it was. I think it was about half health, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think everybody needed it back. Nicholas actually TP'd there as well. I think with the way that Cake's health bar was, I don't think they're actually threatening to end. It would have been close, but I think the Elder needed to be secured. Tim Tuff gonna see if he can catch out yet another Rivals player. We're now 43 minutes into the game. You know, Soul secured by Rivals. They do have that extra bit of buff from the healing from the Ocean Soul. But about 7k in Jolly Rogers' favor. Every tower has been taken that there is to take. They have Elder, and they might just waltz in and end. The Q coming out, Gank stunned up, and you blink and you miss it. He's gone. It is now a 4v5. Rivals doing all they can, but having to fight an Eldered up Jolly Rogers team is not great for them. BK is taken down as well. And this should be game one going to the side of Jolly Rogers and crew. And man, 44 minutes. Well, Coach, what do you got for the team before you get into that call?
I mean, I can't give away any secrets.
No strats, but what are you gonna kind of re-emphasize with them in regards to this game?
I mean, I think one of the big things is that we're playing too fast-paced early. We had a team fight late game comp, and we were up way too far in lanes against an assassin jungler. So this is Fearless. All the champs that just got played cannot be played again. So that plays into the strategy as we move forward. You know, there's no reason to harp on if they have this champ or if they have this champ. So yeah, I mean, just game one, it was a banger. Felt like Jolly Rogers was in the driver's seat most of it, and Rivals hung on for quite a long time. So yeah, I'm not too worried yet. A lot of games to be played, and we're a second half team. So
Yeah. Got him in the first game. Is only a 1 game loss, so we still have at least 2 more to look forward to. I'll let you get into there. I'll talk a little bit about um the stats and things from this game, but we should jump into draft relatively quickly if I'm not mistaken. So good luck. May draft be in your favor. Um, and he is gone. Yeah, we're gonna send it into a quick intermission, and we will be back shortly after. Cannot. Now you can. Welcome back, everybody. I know it says intermission, but we are going to be getting into draft for game two. First game went the way of Jolly Rogers. 43 minutes. It was a hard fought game by both sides. Ultimately, the jungle mid pairing from Jolly Rogers, that Kha'Zix and that Syndra, proved to be too much to overcome for Rivals Rejects. There you could see the previous draft. I do know that Rivals has elected to take blue side for game two. And so if you're Jolly Rogers, you're feeling really good. I mean, it could have been cleaner for sure. But you ultimately get that game one win, and you do so in pretty convincing fashion. You know, it's close up until a fight down in bot lane. The after that, the gold lead kind of ballooned to about 6K for Jolly Rogers, and they were able to run away with the game. It'll be interesting to see how Rivals Rejects responds. They were lacking in vision, which played a part into Kha'Zix getting so far ahead. And they didn't really act cohesively. It seemed like everybody was on their own agenda. But the beautiful thing about League of Legends is game one is done in the past, and now game two is all that matters. So everything from game one doesn't carry over to game two. As we see, draft should be underway. As Nocturne is going to be banned away from Tim Tuff, who did excellent work on that Kha'Zix in game one. Warbrick is going to be the response ban for Jolly Rogers. So jungler is still being targeted. Common theme from game one to game two. I have been told that the ADC has swapped from game one to game two as well. So type 3 will be playing. As we see Wukong going to be the second ban, and Briar once again the response. So far, drafts are almost identical. If that theme was to continue, we would see a Thresh ban come out for Rivals. And that is indeed what we see. And the Aurora. Okay, so bans consistent from game one to game two, regardless of side. Now let's see what Rivals Rejects opts to pick with this B1 pick that they wanted. They decided to take blue game. They said, we've had enough of red for, we just played that for 43 minutes. Let's try something new. Braum hovered, Braum locked. Very, very interesting stuff. Braum obviously a favorite of Sauce, comfort champion, and maybe it dissuades some engage coming out from Jolly Rogers. We will have to see. What the response is, and it might be a Nico. That could very well be going in the bot lane. Difficult for Braum to deal with, but we'll have to see what the Braum is ultimately paired with. Ashe, whole bunch of champs off the table. Ashe, Jin, taken out of the ADC pool. I guess everything else is available in terms of that bot lane. So we'll have to see what these teams opt into. I expect an ADC pick here. And indeed it is. This is a Varus going to be locked in for Jolly Rogers and their new AD carry. I don't know how new, but type 3 coming in for game two. So we'll have to see how the Varus ultimately performs. I expect it to be on hit with that Braum, but we'll have to see. MF going to be the answer into the Varus. And Sejuani locked in for iGank. So 2 champions of the Freljord. 1 Bilgewater Gun Goddess. Going to round out that first half of the draft for Rivals. Jolly Roger is waiting on this R3 pick. I expect it to be a jungler. Now, granted, I guess this could be a Nico Jung. I'm not familiar with Mr. Timtuff's game. Going to be Trundle locked in. Trundle could be flexed between top and jungle, obviously. I expected to go jungle with the Sejuani being picked. You know, standard counter that we are used to seeing is Tom Kench going to be taken away from Rivals. So far, yet again, it's a lot of pick from Jolly Rogers. You got the Nico route, you got the Varus ults, you got the Trundle Pillar to slow. Where on Rivals side, you see a pretty strong team fight starting to happen. You got the Sejuani pairing with the Braum nicely. Got the ultimate from Misfortune over the top potentially, as we see Rise going to be taken away from Jolly Rogers. Don't want to see that champion on the Rift for Rivals, so let's see how the rest of these bans shape up. My guess is it's going to be another top lane ban thrown at BKs. Instead, it's going to be the Corki. Corki proving to be a champion that has potentially high prio in this series. Jolly Rogers opting to ban it both second phases. And Ari is going to be our final ban for this Game 2 draft. I imagine Jolly Rogers will draft either a mid laner here or a support, depending on what this Nico is. Or they could preserve that and draft a blind top here. But they didn't really ban for blind top, so I assume it's going to be a mid or support in this R4 spot. And Zac going to be locked. Okay. So the Zac and the Trundle can still be flexed between each other, between jungle and top. So I guess some preservation of flex is still happening. But I expect it to be Zac top, Trundle jungle. But who knows? It could even be Zac support. So I guess we'll have to see. Very curious to see what Rivals responds with. And it is going to be Cho'Gath locked in for top lane. The mid lane pick is all that is left. The choice of mid still, you know, outside of the Aurora, the 2 previous champions, the Syndra and the Swain, and then the Rise that Rivals banned away, everything's on the table. It's only game 2 of this best of 5 Fearless. Yone going to be what Nick says to take. Put Yone in my hands, and Cassiopeia, an excellent answer into the Yone. It's going to be very interesting to see how Nick navigates that lane. Very, very heavily Cassiopeia favored. Once again, I will say Jolly Rogers has a little bit more teamfight tools now with the Zac and the Cass locked in, but I still feel like they have a good amount of poke and pick, while Rivals opting into a teamfight comp yet again. And I will say Rivals struggled to find a team fight. I don't think they ever actually fought as 5, except for the one fight that they lost. And the game kind of got blown open by. So we'll have to see if they are able to adjust and maybe force those 5v5s a little bit better, get picked a little bit less. Or we'll see that trend continue from game 1 to game 2. The beautiful thing about it is we'll have to see it happen on the Rift. Draft on paper is one thing, how it's executed is another. But so far, it's 1-0 Jolly Rogers. As we wait for CB to get in here, chat, I'm asking you guys, what are your thoughts on draft? We're going to open it up to the floor. What are you seeing that I'm missing? Mayhaps we even get a prediction going. What do we think about that? Do we like gambling here? Saying yes for the gambling. I will give you 5 minutes to make your predictions as we wait for this draft phase to go through. Cody, I'm hearing you in my ear.
Who is your prediction? Just based on champs.
Based on champs,
Just based on champs.
I think Rivals comp is easier to execute. And that makes me think I think the comp that's always easier to execute is the one that's favored. So I'm going to go Rivals. I think the team fight is a little bit more well drawn. We have a little bit Rivals has a little bit more of it, like clear engage, clear disengage, and win cons around that. But Jolly Rogers picking a comp that once again, if they get ahead early, will be kind of tough for Rivals to deal with. So we'll have to see. On paper, I think it's Rivals, but in practice, I think it might be Jolly Rogers based off of momentum and the like.
I do believe momentum plays a big part, especially in this elo. Um, I'm biased towards the draft, so I can't give really an unbiased take. I like that we were able to get the Braum Sedge Misfortune pairing.
Yeah.
Um, but Jolly Rogers played very well in the early game, first game. So if
So
they can do something similar, I think they can snowball it. But we'll see if Rivals Rejects can be a little bit more disciplined.
I'm curious, what was kind of your like, hey guys, I know we lost, but what are some things you reiterated with this team? Because if I'm looking, Nick had a really tough game one, and I'm looking at that Zach Cassiopeia, getting countered plus the Zach. It could go south fast game two. Were you able to talk to him a little bit and just say like, hey man, just you may not overforce. Just play your game.
Yeah, I mean, so of course with Fearless, different champs, so it's kind of all the play styles and everything's different. So we didn't harp on the champ style too much. Like they don't have an assassin necessarily now. We did point out really leaning in towards just playing patient early. Ooh, playing patient early. Uh, we're fighting 20 times before anybody has ultimates. So that was one of the things. And of course, walking into jungle as a squishy carry blind, um, we have to call out our tanks and go get some vision. So those were kind of the two main takeaways. And that was Jolly Rogers' strengths was catching people out and fighting early when rivals really shouldn't have been.
Well, we will have to see. We're going to throw it to a quick intermission before we get back into game two of this best of five match between Jolly Rogers and Rivals Rejects. We'll see you on the flip.
30 seconds until
Welcome back,
minions
everybody,
spawn.
to Game 2 of this Best of 5 series quarterfinals match between Rivals Rejects and Jolly Rogers. Rivals Rejects on the blue side, Jolly Rogers on the red. And what was kind of an action-packed, I mean, nothing really happened level 1, but there was a lot of like, oh, you're gonna move in, you're gonna move out kind of thing that happened in Game 1. Looks like it's kind of just standard
Minions have
5
spawned.
point from Rivals, and then kind of an amalgamation of everything from Jolly Rogers.
What's up, Doc?
I will say, Slippy opting to take the Trundle into Cho'Gath. I thought the Trundle would go jungle. Instead, it's gonna be Tim Tough on this Zac. So, if I'm Nick, I have to know. Okay, they were in my lane often, game 1, and they could even be worse game 2. So, already in a disadvantaged matchup, maybe have to play a little bit safe for the first couple minutes of game 2, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and I'd say that goes for Rivals mid lane and bot lane both. The poke lane for Jolly Rogers, a little bit tough early for the Braum, and they of course have that Zac lurking, so we'll see if the discipline can be held by Rivals this game.
We will have to see indeed. Type 3 opting for the on-hit build. Level 2 hit by Slippy, the immediate flash. BK is taken extremely low. iGank will be there to escort his top laner to safety.
And it's deja vu. The same exact thing game 1. Slippy getting the level 2 advantage first and taking it straight to BK.
Really good flash too to avoid that Cho'Gath rupture. Tim Tusk will be spotted out by Nicholas here. Nick knows he has to try to shove this lane in safely, unable to do so. And he knows Zac can just look for an E. We see Sauce taken low on this bot side. As you correctly identified, the poke will be hard for the blind Braum to deal with early. Especially if we dodge in straight lines. But a lot more tempered early game for Rivals compared to game 1 of to the early game of game 1.
Yeah, I think by this time, game 1, we already had, what, 4 kills or something like that?
4 deaths, but yeah.
4 kills for somebody.
4 kills for somebody. Yeah, you know, much more even of a game state for Rivals. Now, I will say, bot lane has been able to get a little bit of a lead, about 11 CS, 2 waves up. But that's just kind of what happens when you blind pick Braum. An interesting blind pick, but I do know it's a favorite of Sauce. And a really good pairing for another of Husky's favorite, the MF. So it's not necessarily as a winning, you're not picking it to win lane, you're doing it to do damage in team fights.
Yeah, definitely a team fight pick. It's tough early. I play a lot of Braum and first pick Braum decent amount. Has to go hand in hand with some discipline, but it was going to be risky taking the Misfortune first pick with Braum up, knowing that Primus does play the Braum, so that was kind of the thought process there.
Big root coming up on the Husky. Taking about 2/3 health. As Tim Tough, oh no, that was a ill-advised E from Nicholas. The flash will not be enough to get him out. First blood going to Dure. I think he was out if he didn't spirit tether himself or whatever that ability's name is.
I think so too, or even right after that if he flashes earlier, I think. But I think Yon and Sejuani just need to be talking right there. Sejuani was, I think, going for top scuttle while Yon was trying to almost fight the 2v1.
Yeah, and I do think that if the Sedge and the Yon were on the same phase, they're probably favored in the 2v2 just because of the, you know, the strong passive with Sedge and that melee mid laner. Could have maybe potentially focused the Zac down, turned their sights on the cast, but instead, Gank not wanting to, you know, get out tempoed, wanted that scuttle, and Nick pays the price for it. BK is caught between a rock and a hard place in the top lane, but Slippy taken to about half health. The one thing about the Cho'Gath pick that is so underrated is that passive, being able to heal up when last hitting minions. You're getting rewarded for being a good player as Slippy takes BKs even lower. Flash unavailable, and BKs goes down. Just disrespecting yet again in this early game.
Yeah, once again, not thinking of the level up timing from the Trundle. Both kills were during a level up.
Yep. Yeah, that level up 2 made it so that Slippy wasn't going to die to tower aggro, as Nick going to try to secure this death onto Slippy, and unable to do so. Interesting. It's interesting that Nick decided to hold his ultimate there, knowing that Slippy didn't have flash, no mana. We'll have to back and use TP. Duray can look to punish him for it. Does get the miasma out, misses the Q, but we see how much of an annoying lane this is going to be for Nicholas. Balling, put it at a disadvantage, and then, you know, kind of going how we expected, but all that said, about 1,003 for Jolly Rogers here in this early game with those 2 first kills.
Yeah, still not as lopsided early as game 1. Definitely Jolly Rogers is doing what they should be doing, and they're getting their early kills.
Nicholas turning on to Duray, misses the Q, actually able to secure the kill. Will eventually fall to Tim Tuff, I believe. As we see on bot side, Type 3 does go down to a gank from iGank. iGank able to pick that up for himself. Primus really low and on vision. Oh, gonna be interesting to see if he stays here. Gank has his sights on the dragon, says, I don't care how low this board is. I'm securing this objective. But 1,200. Old lead for Jolly Rogers. Nick able to turn and find that kill on Cassiopeia. So, you know, honestly, this game, even though he's 1-2, is still going better than game 1. What it felt like, he always had Blitzcrank or Kha'Zix in his lane. So it'll be interesting to see how Jolly Rogers does in this slowed down environment, because game 1 was just fast paced and both teams did a little bit of throwing, a little bit of trolling, did some good things, and it wasn't until that bot lane fight that they really broke it away. So it'll be interesting to see how this slower game pace will fare for both of these teams, because it's just a different look than what we've seen in game 1.
Yeah, so Rivals, we're not at the early game yet. We see a little bit of a fight in mid lane. Pretty
Both champions
right?
taken down very low. iGank's gonna be sussed out here in the bot lane. I don't know if they know if Zach's here. Husky is going to be engaged on, immediately followed up by Type 3's ultimate. The Nico ultimate coming out as well. Husky taken very low and will eventually go down. Gank's here to try to salvage the play, but I think Abram and Asej aren't going to do much into this. Oh. The Q snipe comes out from Type 3. I thought the ignite from Primus was going to guarantee that gank kill. As BK just chomps down on the Trundle. The ultimate comes out. Primus going to be taken down. Type 3, the next target, will snap back, but Type 3 will be sent up by Sauce. Will be good to see if Nicholas can get this kill. Sauce might just secure it for himself. No, he does the right thing. Let's Nicholas get this kill. Nicholas 3-2 on the Yone after a lackluster early game. Looking alive here in game 2.
Yeah, it does give the first blood to Cassiopeia, but coming back strong here as we get into the mid game. Looking good on the Yone.
Yeah, it looks a lot more proactive. I will say, like, Rivals, game 1 to game 2, they're doing a little bit better in terms of working as a team on the map here. We've seen Nick obviously the benefactor of, you know, a roam down bot. Gank was there to try to salvage the play earlier. And it just seems like, oh, Primus in lane, able to stun him, Nicholas. Nicholas should be able to walk off. It seems like the story of top lane is top lane is always able to die when their pants are down, as Nicholas is going to be rooted up, stunned up, CC'd, tipped up, doing all he can to try to get the kill. Nicholas is going to have to snap back, and he might be snapping back to his death. The W coming through to try to shield him. The ultimate from Freeman is coming down. Gank taken extremely low. Tim Tuff going to try to secure the kill. Does indeed do that. Sauce is here to force the passive from this Zach. Primus dies. Tim Tuff goes down.
Brom's
The ult
saving
goes
the ult.
wide
Brom
from
should have
Brom.
ulted.
Oh, he did. He just missed it.
He did ult.
Flash going to be forced from Tim Tuff as well. Ends up being a 2 for nothing, even though Primus does go down. No kill credit going the side of Rivals, and so
Yeah,
some
good
sloppiness
plays.
from both sides.
Good plays. Tim Tuff playing very well on this Zach. I think Brom could have gotten that kill. He had ult and ignite up, but trying to save those and not use them if he didn't have to. Didn't realize that he used feet.
Looking at these early neutral objectives, the 3 early grabs were secured by Tim Tuff solo. The Dragon with Way of Rivals, and Husky just walking into his death. And that's kind of been the theme between games 1 and game 2, is just Husky not realizing where enemy champions are, or where they could be.
Yeah, I think it's a point out. It's one thing when you need to get vision or need to be somewhere, but you don't need to be walking into the river right there. No upside to it.
Was taken down extremely low, and Primus is here. Primus just doing what he does best, and that is ganking mid. The ult forced out by Nicholas, and actually saves him. Wow. That's when you hit him in the all chat, if it's allowed. Obviously, all chat's not allowed, probably. That's when you say calculated.
Yeah, probably gonna err on the side of caution on that one.
Yeah.
It does seem like this is looking similar as we have a top lane fight coming out here.
Should amount to nothing. Actually, ultimate will be used by Slippy as Primus yet again here in this mid lane. Nicholas is saying, please team, help me. I am a champion, I promise. Dragon did spawn, so the grubs were split. First drag going towards Rivals to see if they can pick up this second Drake, as BK is doing all he can to try to kill this Trundle. Ooh! That last turret shot may be the difference. Slippy, I'm not sure what he's doing. And the Heartsteel proc will secure it. Primus flashing away. We'll take the Cinderwine ult proc damage, that residual damage. So everybody taking low. Varus going to push in a mighty big wave in the bot lane. But Dragon, actually should be secured by Rivals, but they're lining up nicely for potential take from Zach. Zach does get in there. Taken down to 40 health. The smite missed by Gank, but the auto does secure. Gonna stun up Tim Tuff. Decent ultimate coming from Husky on this MF. Does result in Cho'Gath getting the kill on Zach. Flash being forced from Type 3 by BK's. BK's gonna cut him off. Type 3 says, okay, I'm just gonna go with a Cho'Gath Snot, potentially pick up a kill. Husky does back away, has 2 summoner spells available, and somehow the Varus is able just to walk away.
Yeah, good job by Type 3 realizing that, oh, it's a 1v1 with the misfortune. I can just turn around.
The back is stopped by Type 3. DK is losing his top tower, does get a kill by TPing down and potentially securing that second Drake, but there's one thing that Trundle excels in, it's doing damage to structures, and he just got a whole tower basically for free.
Cho'Gath is strong,
again.
but Trundle on the sideways is going to be a toughie this game.
Yeah, and I expect, you know, Cho'Gath with that Heartsteel, Trundle to opt into a second item, Blade of the Ruin King. If he doesn't do that, it'll probably be a Trinity for us, but I think Blade goes a long way here in terms of being that side lane menace that you want to be. as we see Sauce potentially caught out. The Q ends up hitting a minion, but it doesn't matter. Sauce, oh, big ultimate coming from Nicholas, followed by ultimate from Primus as well. Primus gonna be knocked up by the Cho'Gath Rapture and killed by iGang. Duray with a 4-man ultimate. Nicholas taken extremely low, flash forward from Duray to try to kill. Shutdown goes to Nicholas instead. Nicholas 4-3-0 on the Yone. And we see a lot more team-oriented effort coming out from Rivals compared to game 1.
I want to take at least 15% credit for yelling at them for it, but
There you go.
that's
Because taking a couple tower shots to make sure he gets that hard steal. And while I do like the teamwork, the team effort coming from Rivals, it's coming at the cost at some, pretty key objectives, right? We saw BK's TP down from top, top goes down. We see bot lane roam up to mid, bot goes down, right? So while they have been able to win out on these fights, it hasn't really nulted net successes for them in terms of anything after the kill, right? No towers were taken by making these plays. No neutral objectives were taken. I guess the Rift Herald was secured. But it'll be interesting to see and track how that goes, because even though Rivals is up 10-8 with 2 dragons, they're actually down about 2,500 gold, which is worrying.
Yep, 2 towers. We have some decent CS leads for Jolly Rogers. I mean, top, mid, and 80 carry.
Yep. All the roles that it matters. So
Whoa.
we'll have to see how it goes.
Support lives matter, but he's also down 10 CS.
True. Sauce gonna be rooted up by Primus. Primus does have that Hextech Alternator, which does a good chunk of damage. Husky stepping up, taking to the face from Type 3. Now I will say, Type 3 will be scary with the on-hit. I will point out the fact it's going to be hard for him to ever be in a position to really unload autos with the comp the Rivals has drafted. But if he ever is left unattended, he's going to be shredding through the 2 tanks and Gank and BKs on the Sejuani and Cho'Gath respectively. BK is going to back off after pushing in that wave. Smart call. Nicholas stopping Duray's back, but not opting to fight. Dragon coming up in 45 seconds. 2 Drakes secured already by Rivals. Would you like them to fight for this one, or do you think they can recognize that they're actually down in gold, opt to give this one, and maybe get some gold in their pocket from towers and such on the map?
I like us to group and push mid and then see how the drag's looking. Bot lane tower's already down. I think Cass is backing on a ward right here. So we'll see if Yon catches this wave and then goes to Dragon. As Cass is backing, I guess I should have turned drag timers on.
Cho'Gath walking towards this drag, able to save his TP by getting that shove in early. So Rivals looking to get first move on the dragon, as we see Blasting Cone taken by support and jungle. Gonna be immediately started up on spawn. Cho'Gath actually running top. Cho'Gath kind of hovering between top and mid. I think top is the correct call. If mid goes down, it's not your fault. But that's going to be 3rd Drake secured by Rivals. So now, a nice little cushion in terms of these drag timers to kind of play around the map and try to get some gold in their back pockets. I think what ultimately did them in was forcing that Elder Dragon early. Game 1 didn't give them enough time to get back into the game, and so when push came to shove, it was just easy. Rivals getting engaged on by Primus and crew. Tim Tuff flashing forward, able to take down Sauce, looking to go forward. Husky throwing autos, but Tim Tuff being too tough to take down, a little bit too tanky as Nicholas getting into it with Duray. And it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade on the bot side. Primus able to get the ultimate off. Damage does not come through as Primus dies before it drops. Tim Tuff getting taken into the Zac passive. BK is doing a lot of damage on this Cho'Gath. Type 3 autoing for his life. Tim Tuff able to come out of the passive, but off Husky on the Misfortune, and that was a lot of fighting all around the map.
A lot of fighting. Trundle, Zach, very difficult to kill. And just standing right in front of the Misfortune. Misfortune really couldn't get to the virus. Good fight for Jolly Rogers. Kills going for both sides, but Jolly Rogers coming out on top.
I will say, I wish we could break odds, but we can't. There's a ad break coming in 40 seconds. If you guys want to keep watching uninterrupted, drop them Prime subs if you know what I'm saying. But otherwise, it's not something that we can do anything about. So unfortunately, there will be an ad break coming up. Hopefully, y'all don't miss anything important.
We'll see, Baron is up, but I don't think, I mean, Zach's bot lane right now. Interesting.
Oh, trying to catch out Nicholas, that blue ward. Doing a lot. Now you see Rivals do what you were hoping for. And try to break this mid-outer. Primus going to be engaged on. Ult goes wide, hits the clone instead. Tower will go down. Primus does move up Sauce. Ultimate does come out. Sauce able to get the ultimate in return. Primus taking about 2 HP, able to walk it out. Sauce flashes away, gets out alone. Oh, Snipe comes out from Type 3, but BK is with a huge TP on the backside. Jumps down on Varus. Type 3 taken out. Dure now is here on the backside. Nicholas ulting to get into position. Dure's able to find an ultimate on Sejuani. Flash forward for BK's to secure a kill on Primus. Husky, the beneficiary of that last auto. 2-for-1 trade going the side of Rivals.
Yeah,
all of
Rivals
this though,
had some good setup there where Misfortune was not targeted at all on that fight.
that's true. And they won the fight. BK is actually stuck between the pillar and the wall. Will be interesting to see if he gets out. Zach going to engage over the top while the rest of his team is taking Baron. BK's might be happy just to go down to secure that objective. Actually, Nicholas is here to knock up Tim Tuff. Tim Tuff going to be hit up by the Rapture as well. Taken down by Nicholas. Dure TPing in, but TPing to their death. Dure, double kill going for Nicholas. And so the Baron was started, was turned off, and I think appropriately results in 2 kills for Nicholas. And that objective isn't going anywhere, you know? They can always come back to it as Nicholas gets 2 kills and maybe gets a little too cocky. Shut down going for Slippy.
Yeah, maybe riding the high of getting 2 kills a little bit too much there. Not thinking about the Nico still lurking around behind him. Like to see Rivals pulling off the Baron. Maybe pulling off a little sooner would be cooler, but that's alright. It all worked out for the Baron fight, but then Yon going down. Yon does have 7 kills.
Yon does have 7 kills. Actually, looking at the goal, let's take an inventory here. We'll say about even, you know, about 400 gold lead for Trundle in the top lane. About 400, 500 for Zach in the jungle. You look at mid, Yone is about 800 up. And then bot lane is where most of that gold lead for Jolly Rogers is concentrated on. 5,600 for that Varus as opposed to 69 for Misfortune. So now it's going to be that scenario we talked about, right? 20 seconds till Drake. Rivals in the Drake driver's seat. 3 secured already. They don't have to go for this Drake, but I would, if they decide to give it up, I would like them to go for Baron or something on the opposite side of the map. Said Slippy gonna be able to secure a tower, and I don't think BKs can actually fight him with that Blade of the Rune King being finished. That's a fully stacked lethal tempo Trundle with ultimate running at BKs. BK's actually doing all he can to get out and does so. But now he's gonna be very low with no TP. Trundle does have TP, and I think Rivals needs to back off, otherwise this is gonna be a wipe and a dragon loss. The engage coming through from Tim Tuff. Ultimate has begun. Sauce going to be immediately taken down. Nicholas does knock up free with his ultimate. Primus gets the ultimate in return. Type 3 going to slay Nicholas. Husky and Gang doing all they can, but Tim Tuff just will not go down. Stunned up by a Gang. Going to save Husky's life, but we're not allowed to see if Gang can get out. And is able to do so. At the end of the day, 2 kills and a dragon secured by Jolly Rogers. I really just don't think Rivals needed to be there.
I mean, I think that starts with Trundle fighting the Cho'Gath, making Cho'Gath run away and being able to back up and TP into that fight. So, good job by Slippy.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but like BK needs to be communicating. He doesn't have TP anyways, right? Somebody has to match the trundle, and somebody has to have to ensure they have TP in order to do so. Both solo laners at that point didn't have TP, so you're really going to play a disadvantage. You can either play for the dragon, 50-50 it in like a 4v4, but Trundle's going to wreak havoc on the side, or, I mean, the other option is what we just saw where BK is forced to back off, the tower goes down anyways. This Baron just immediately started up by Rivals. It's kind of like a desperation play. I think they're trying to fight. Primus forced to flash up. BK's Q, the Rapture
knock
going
it out.
wide, Rupture going wide.
Turn into a ward, turn into a ward.
Turn into a ward. Ultimate does come out, doesn't amount to anything. Rivals in through.
And Rivals don't need to fight here. There's Yone bot. Push.
Yep. BK's just saying, I'm gonna walk in anyways. Ultimate does come out, but it's not up. BK's in terms of some of Saw. Pretty good ultimate coming over Husky in that choke point. Slippy does turn on Gang. Big ultimate comes from Gang, knocking out 3, able to potentially get the rest of the team out. Instead, BK is gonna be taken down by the Cassiopeia. Great Tim Tough engage, results in 2 more kills, and now this might be a free Baron while Yone is just splitting. Sauce actually gets away. But the Baron should be secured by Jolly Rogers, and it's just Rivals is not on the same page in terms of their macro game.
Yeah, it was just 2 different calls. You either send the Yone top with the TP to fight, or you just back off. There's no reason to chase them into their own jungle.
Baron secured by Rivals. Nicholas deciding to go in instead of trying to get out. Interesting choice. Dure on a killing spree, assisted by Primus.
Yeah, Jolly Rogers capitalizing on every mistake that Rivals is going to make. Jolly Rogers is just capitalizing on them.
I mean, it was a game that was going so much better for Rivals compared to game 1. And then it seems like it just comes down to these costly mistakes. Jolly Rogers, of course, able to effectively punish them. But it feels like a lot of it could be avoided if Rivals were just on the same page. Baron obviously secured. Primus hanging out in the wings, seeing if BK is going to step up too far. Both members of Jolly Rogers opting to back, doing all he can to kill these Baroned up minions, and now this Trundle, who is already a menace on the sides. 4 items. Daybreaker in the pocket. Baron in his bootstraps. And that guy is a threat to end if left unattended. Hitting a little bit of a lull as Jolly Rogers tries to push in all 3 waves simultaneously. Slippy in the top lane. Going against Nicholas. Nicholas just taken immediately low. Great ultimate coming out through iGang, able to save his mid laner. Followed up by Nicholas's own ultimate, but he will go down to the red buff of Slippy, turning his sights onto iGang. iGang taken low, unfortunately not able to get the Trundle pillar, and might be biting off more than he can chew. Gang trying to salvage the play, taken very low, but the flash chomp from Cho'Gath secures and Slippy goes down. But in the meantime, Jolly Rogers pushing bot in uncontested will result in that tier 2 going down. 56,000 gold to 49,000 for Rivals. Almost 8k difference between the 2 teams here as iGang. Engaging under Primus, Cho'Gath is here, will find the knockup. Primus is going to go down. BK 7, 3, and 6, 482 stacks on this Heartsteel. It is very strong, but it's almost impossible for him to deal with Flippy on this Trundle on his own, and
Rival should fight here.
yeah, Rival should fight. They have the advantage. Big engagement from Nita for ultimate as well. Husky finding the ultimate of Type 3. Type 3 will be taken down. Sauce and Husky will be taken down in turn. Dure knocked up by Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath doing all he can to try to take out this Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia able to stay alive. Nicholas just shows up. Too little, too late. What are we doing? Not on the same page. Nicholas, take it down. And once again, it's just nobody's on the same page.
Yeah, and it looked good for a second, but once that TP came in from Trundle, Trundle is just so strong, so hard to kill.
Level 17 right now. Crossing over to this 31-minute mark. I know Slippy's not playing Mundo right now, but he does go where he please on this Trundle. Gonna be almost full build on his next back. Baron gonna come up in 2 minutes, and unless a Rivals is able to find a pick or do something different, it just seems like a rinse and repeat of game 2 where they kind of hang around up until they don't. And then Jolly Rogers just kind of takes it away.
Yeah, I'm trying to think the last time that there was an actual 5v5 fight. It seems like almost every time Rivals is missing a player that shows up too late.
Or not at all.
Or not at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the story, right? Like, I mean, Rivals, obviously to your credit, as the gang gets to engage, might be ill-advised, extremely wise to follow a game of their own. Husky immediately taken out, pissing the other team. Gang going to be following soon. Gang taking extremely low. Nicholas with a decent engage, finding an angle on the Type 3. Type 3 actually taken down. Nicholas actually 1 HP, able to walk away. At the end of the day, it's 1 for 1 for Rivals and Jolly Rogers. Both ADCs taken down, and this is just not a winning fight for BKs. He is going to die. Eventually. Goodness, now he's dead.
Killing spree.
Pause coming out as jungler DCs. And with this pause, everybody take a deep breath. 32 minutes in.
Fighting on fight. Every game's gonna be over 50 kills, 30 minutes, you think?
I don't know. If I was a betting man, I would say yes.
40
but
kills. Sorry. 50 kills.
Obviously, we're a little bit biased here. CB coaching this team in this best of 5. Taking a step back, obviously it's not a great game state right now. But what are some good things you've seen from Rivals, and what are some things you wish they would stop doing?
Well, I'm seeing some good ults, except for maybe that last death from Husky. This game and last game. That's been a contention in some of the previous games, so I like that. We are grouping a lot more, at least compared to first game. Could have been a little bit better, but definitely an improvement from first game, I'd say. I mean, I have to give, I try to be unbiased. Obviously, I'm going for Rivals here, but credit where credit's due. Jolly Rogers is capitalizing on any mistake that Rivals makes. So they're playing really well. I wish we had an answer for Trundle. I don't really have a solution there other than everybody claps on him, but Jolly Rogers is playing macro pretty well. They're doing stuff on the other side of the map when Trundle is doing stuff. So, how we win this game? A very good team fight that goes our way. Zach is, I mean, shout out to Tim Tuff. He's playing super well on this Zach, going straight for the misfortune. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna come down to I think Rivals is gonna have to get a pick to kind of turn the tides of this game, but the damage might already be done. You know, you're about 9k down now at this point, 32 minutes in, and the people that needed gold don't have it, right? We have 2.5 items on Husky, 2.5 items on Yone, and you look across the way, 4 items for Cassiopeia, 3 completed for Varus already. Trundle's very well almost fully built, and so it's going to be an uphill battle. Jolly Rogers, knowing what their win cons are and letting the game come to them. You know, they played for what they thought were their strengths, and they played for what they thought they could abuse from Rivals. And not only that, but they're willing to give up some neutrals and maybe some plays that other teams might make to secure maybe a bigger bag, so to speak, 2 minutes down the road. You know, there's been times where they could have contested these early dragons, but you know, they said, hey, we know that if we just keep getting gold on the map, if you guys just keep letting us get towers, come Drag 4, it's not going to be close. And so far, that's been the case. So Jolly Rogers obviously playing extremely well in the driver's seat of this second game. while we're in this pause, gonna take a little bit of time to talk about what you see on your screen on the bottom right there. That Christmas Clash, Malachi smiling at you. If you're Emerald 4 and below, and you're on a team or want to be, we have a little one-day event going on here at Rivals. Gonna be the 14th, next Saturday. Going to be a kind of a
This
fun
Saturday.
little format.
This Saturday. No, you gotta know your days.
This Saturday, you're right. My bad.
It's Monday. It's so
I
far
said
away.
the 14th. I said the
The
14th.
next Saturday coming up. Yeah.
Yeah. The very next one. But it's gonna be a fun little event. Gonna be one day. If you want to be a participant, you can expect anywhere from 2 to 7 games, depending on how many teams show up and how well you do. But should be pretty fun. We'll be casting it, me and CB. We'll have a little bit better of a setup going on. But yeah, if you're interested, there's a Discord button on the Twitch channel. You just click there, get the Christmas Clash roll. You'll see the rule book and everything there as well. So definitely recommend it because I want to have fun that day, and we can only have fun if you have fun.
Yeah, and we have a lot of sneaky content and whatnot that we're going to be doing. This is just we're actually using today as our getting all the kinks out. So, yeah, we're excited for it.
Yep. Expect a rival stream non-kinky next game.
Whoa!
Waiting for this pause to come through. There's gonna be a little bit of gameplay and then probably a delay. Just the joys of spectator. There it is. Gotta wait for this to play out, but Jolly Roger's in the driver's seat. 50 seconds left until this Baron spawns. I expect Trundle to be put on the opposite side of the map, and Jolly Roger's basically, putting the pressure on Rivals, saying, "Are you going to collapse on our Trundle and ensure that he just doesn't end the game solo, or are you gonna let him do his thing and contest this Baron?" Either way, it's gonna be tough sledding for Rivals, so we'll see how they have to respond.
Yep, similar to first game, it seems like if Jolly Rogers keeps doing what they're doing, the game's theirs. So, I'd like to see Rivals make a final stand fight here. We'll see if it's over the Baron for the game or not.
We see all members of Jolly Rogers concentrating in on that Baron. Sauce able to get a ward and able to get it done safely. As Slippy says, you know what? I'm Trundle and I do deeps. I'm just gonna hit this Baron with my team.
Yeah, Neona's far away.
Yeah, Rivals is just not prepared. Primus, look at Primus' positioning on the bot side of here. Gonna be able to find a great ultimate. 3-man Primus ult on the Nico. Gank immediately taken out. Husky seem to follow. Sauce taken very low. Nicholas able to find an ultimate. Primus is taken down. Jury having to flash out. Sauce still alive. BK is very, very tanky. Turning his attention onto Type 3. Unfortunately, will not be able to make magic happen.
BK's canceled that last auto. I don't think
Yeah,
it would
he
have killed
did.
Virus, but
4 for 1 for Jolly Rogers. Baron. Who secured Baron?
oh, I didn't even see that. Maybe the missed push at
Wow.
all.
Somehow Rivals is able to secure it, so as long as Nick doesn't die here, I don't know if Jolly Rogers can end with the health bars that they have. They might be able to get this in here. Nicholas needs to be careful. Nicholas flashing away. Nicholas flashing away but still dying. It's tough. Great Zackle, knowing the limits of this champion, so that will be an in-hit taken down by Jolly Rogers. But some life for Rivals. That's Tim Tough find his space into the wall for all of us to see. The Baron taken away.
Yeah, and you think that the Baron steal away is the reason that Rivals is still standing this game.
Yeah.
Of course, would like to see the Yone at the fight. After the fight, we have a little bit of a Little tickle.
Oh,
Little tickle before dragon here.
Man,
Um,
stunned by the Nico. That
But yeah,
tingle
interesting
barbs
to
did
think
work.
about what would have happened if Yon would have been there when the fight started, but it's an unfortunate trend we see going on this game. Stack
Well,
up
he
with this
does have
soul.
TP advantage, TP available.
A
Nicholas.
summoner has disconnected.
Walking towards the dragon as we see another crash from iGang. I don't know what the pause was. This is MSL, right? You get 3 pauses up to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's probably 10 or 15 minutes. That one's kind of tough, as you could argue Sejuani's too close to that clone right there to be pausing the game, but
They knew he was a clone. He's not. He's not.
yeah,
in combat.
that's true, that's true.
It's a
that's true.
clone. It's a clone.
They're all walking the other way, so. And I'm not a fan of saying who DC'd because right now they're looking at Sejuani and thinking, Sejuani's the one with the bad internet. Maybe we should fight him right here, but we'll see. We do have Braum standing right there, Misfortune and Cho'Gath close by, so we'll see if this unpause immediately starts with a team fight.
If you hear something in the background, that's my
A
dog.
summoner has reconnected.
He's very excited that he has a bone.
What did dog do?
So, sorry for the random background noise. But we'll wait for this pause timer to go through. I mean, looking at it, right? I know it's just the 3rd Drake for Jolly Rogers. I don't think they're actually fighting for the Drake. I think that they know if they win this fight, they just end the game. So expect them just to try to get as many kills as possible so they can end this one out. 35 minutes, 35 and a half minutes on timer. These games have been long. And if Rivals is to come back, I'm not saying game 2 is over for them, but if they are, it's going to be a long, arduous road with the way these games have been going. So you'll have to see. Honestly, we just have to see what happens here.
Yeah, could be in for a long night, could be 3-0. We are all hoping for a long night here as we're back into it.
Gonna be a little bit of a pause here, and then we get down to what could potentially be the deciding fight in this Game 2 matchup of a best-of-5 series for MSL quarterfinals. Will Jolly Rogers, was it Kraken heads? Kraken skulls.
Kraken skulls.
Will Jolly Rogers, Kraken skulls secure a Game 2 victory, or will Rivals breathe new life for themselves into this game? Ultimate comes out of Varus. Nicholas able to find Dawn onto D-Ray. Nicholas taking a extreme row. Just scattered by everything is happening all at once. He's going to be knocked out by Primus. Primus going to go golden. Actually will be slain by BK, flashing away, trying to get out of it. Everyone's taking so low. Soft to secure a kill on Cassiopeia. Type 3 flashing to secure the rest of the kills. Nicholas' back is going to be stopped, and that should be it, folks. Sloppy, who somehow had no damage on him, is going to TP in and finish game 2 of this series.
Yeah, and Slippy and Tim Tuff playing hell of a game. Type 3 also, the second half of the game, got a lot of kills, wasn't targeted that much, and yeah, tough game.
I will say, some trends are developing between games 1 and game 2. Tim Tuff seems like he is like the tempo getter. Like he's the one that's like directing the plays, because wherever Tim is, action follows. Slippy's been able to catch BKs with his pants down a couple times. And so that's a trend. We have to see if that continues to go that way in the upcoming game 3. And then finally, Duray's just been being consistent. So, with all that being said, we're going to throw it to a quick intermission before we get into game 3, potentially the deciding game of this quarterfinals matchup. Alrighty, everybody. Welcome back to what is going to be Game 3's draft of this best of 5 quarterfinals matchup. Jolly Rogers has taken a commanding 2-0 lead, while Rivals Rejects has been a little bit flustered the past couple of games. Rivals opting to swap back to red side, Jolly Rogers on blue, and the first ban will be the Warwick. Going to see if the trend continues of the same bans being given despite both sides, and so far it seems like it's just a mere formality that we have this banning phase. I think it's going to be all three same bans. Actually, no, a little bit of spice coming out from Jolly Roger is going to be the Kaisa banned away from Husky instead of the Aurora. Now, I'm curious to see if Rivals bans the Aurora instead because they're on red. I don't know. Maybe Jolly Rogers doesn't play it, and they're just saying, hey, our mids kind of had their way with your mid. Jinx hovered would be a unique ban here as well. Nope. Opting back to the Thresh, so Jinx going to be locked in by Jolly Rogers. They said, oh man, they almost banned away that champion. Rivals Rejects going to pick up that Aurora that has been banned away the previous 2 games. This game 3 is do or die for Rivals. You like to see them put all their cards on the table, come up with the best that they can. And on the flip side, Jolly Rogers should just keep playing their game, as Ziggs is going to be locked in. So 2 AP champs locked in for Rivals. Expect some tank and some AD to quickly follow suit. Jolly Rogers with just the Jinx picked. Essentially Emilio pairing for the Jinx as we see Viego and Katarina going to be locked in for Jolly Rogers. So some picks we haven't seen in the meta in quite some time. Viego making a comeback, potentially a takeaway from iGank as well. And the Katarina going to be locked in as a potential counter to that Aurora. Nautilus being hovered by Rivals. Rel as well. Tom Kench going to be locked for Rivals Rejects. We are on to the second phase of this Game 3 draft. Born banned away from Jolly Rogers. Decent pick. Allows some scaling alongside that Jinx. Some buffing of the Viego and the Katarina. And some CC for a team that needs it. So a decent ban away. Five seconds left. Jolly Rogers taking their time. Going to be the Nautilus banned away from Rivals. Sauce will not be able to get his hands on that Nautilus. Would be a decent pairing with the Ziggs. We can assume the Ziggs is going bot. However, the Aurora and the Tom Kench could be flexed, so who knows? Who knows where these champions are going? The last ban of this game 3 is going to be Rel, and the quick follow ban is the Karma. So, game on the line, Rivals on red. What will the R4 pick be? Wow. The Void Mother herself. Belveth locked in. Now, Belveth is a known counter to Viego. Decent into what Jolly Rogers is showing. But a very unique champion. But I guess when your back's against the wall, you pull out all the stops. Rivals picking the Belveth for themselves. 1 second on the clock. Alistar going to be the pick for Jolly Rogers, going to be joining that Jinx in the bot lane. Definitely a unique pick. If you're assuming the Ziggs is going bot, Alistar might have some trouble with the poke, but we'll have to see. Does preserve a potential flex of the Tom Kench between top and support, as Rumble will be the final pick of Jolly Rogers' draft. It's a draft that has a lot of damage, not a lot of CC. Not no CC, but not a lot. And some pretty fun picks in that jungle mid lane duo with Viego and Katarina be locked in. And Rivals will elect to finish their draft with Morgana as their last pick. Very AP forward this Rivals draft is. AD going to be coming out exclusively from Belveth. Once again, sorry about the ads. Going to be happening in 50 seconds, so at least you're not missing any action. But if you want to miss those ads, do subscribe or get a good ad blocker. Death Knight making some good points. Fearless is starting to show some unique comps coming out as we await the start of this pivotal game 3. Will Rivals be going home after a 3-0 sweep? Or can they preserve their playoff lives? Who knows? Only game 3 will tell us as we wait for them to start it up. All right, chat. You 63% of you were correct in game 2's prediction. Will the majority still be the same for this game 3? We all like gambling here, right? We're just waiting for CB to get back in here so we can ask about his thoughts on the draft. And there he is.
We on the air?
We are on the air.
Definitely like solo Q comp versus solo Q comp.
Yeah.
That's what we get with Fearless later games. It makes it a little interesting because you don't see half of these champs in typical comp play. So we shall see. Oh, we took a little bit of a different approach. We have 4 squishies, but we did get to secure the Aurora, which has been banned out the first 2 games, and Tom Kinch, I think, was banned maybe the first 2 games. Yeah, so I'm feel comfortable with our picks. Everyone's on a comfortable champion. So we shall see if Rivals can get out of the early game. Jolly Rogers is 2 for 2, starting out at least 2-0, with early kills coming before 6 minutes. So see if that changes.
Yeah. It will. I did note in the draft phase that like Jolly Rogers has a ton of damage in their comp, but not a lot of CC or like ways to ensure that the damage goes off. And outside of the Alistar, Jinx might be running for her life, depending on how the Aurora Belveth play. So we will have to see. But so far, the momentum has been Jolly Rogers' favored. But we're getting to the point of Fearless where some unique comps are starting to come out. Some things maybe people aren't so well practiced on, and so we'll have to see if Rivals can take advantage of, still a decent team fighting comp, albeit not as strong as Game 2. As we wait for the rest of this champ flip to go through. If you guys want to make your predictions, it is up. So far, nobody voting for Rivals. 100% of the votes going towards Jolly Rogers.
They do have the momentum. So, I mean,
They
yeah,
do.
it's very tough to reverse sweep in a best of 5, especially at the gold elo. So,
Especially in Fearless.
especially in Fearless. If we can get to game 5, we're going to see some random champs that we forgot even existed.
Some Yumi top, perhaps? No, I'm just kidding.
Hopefully, Jolly Rogers, game 5. I'm done.
Yeah, dude. But with all that being said, I mean, this is do or die for Rivals. So on the flip side of this intermission, we'll see if Rivals is able to pull it off. Can their playoff lives continue, or will Jolly Rogers win in a commanding 3-0 of action? You'll find out after this quick break. Welcome back,
to
everybody,
Summoner's Rift.
to Game 3. Do or die for Rivals Rejects. Win in advance
30
for Jolly
seconds until
Rogers.
minions spawn.
As we see both teams opting into the regular 5-point. CB with the quick logo switcheroo. The stage has been set.
Minions have spawned.
Jolly Rogers with momentum on their side. A unique draft having been picked. No Ignite for Duray this go around, while 3 TPs for Rivals. Did I say no Ignite? I say no TP running the Ignite on Duray. My bad. We'll have to see how this early game goes. Early game has been the bane of Rivals' existence thus far. If I'm Tim Tuff, what happened to Tim Tuff? Why is he so low? What happened? Maybe he's just trying to pull both camps. Anyways, if I'm Tim Tuff, which he's doing, he's pathing towards bot. That's the most immobile lane. That's also the lane with the least amount of escapability. Nicholas shoving in the melee Katarina early. But pretty standard across the board. Conqueror for the Katarina, so you expect like the Triforce AD potentially. Maybe that's why the Rumble came out on top. Sad boy, kind of struggling with the poke from Ziggs and Morgana thus far. Nicholas is getting the better of the Katarina early. Binding just goes wide. But Sad boy, about a third HP. As Primus can do nothing but watch. It's gonna be a tough lane for that bot lane early. Yeah, and no subs blown. BK is learning his lesson. As Nicholas getting engaged on by Duray. Being taken low, Duray finds the Ignite. Flash having to be burned from Nicholas as we see Flash come from gank. Spotted by Flash from Duray. Duray will be without sums for a significant portion of this laning phase, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as we see both junglers are aware that they're on the bottom side of the map. The scuttle will go towards the side of Rivals. I expect a gank to come out. Tim actually stopping his back. Gank hovering around. Get it back on a ward. I think everyone's aware that bot scuttle is like the last neutral objective for this really clear. Nicholas does have the push right now for it. But Rumble has the push on top side. BK's is low on mana as well. So we'll have to see if Gank really wants to fight for it or leads out to taking his red side camps. But this is the first game that Rivals has had a decent lead in the early game, about 500 right now. True. Gank does look like he's just going to opt to take his red side camps with the pressure being exhibited by the Rumble. And so far, so good for Rivals. Hopefully I don't cast her curse. But so far, so good. Be interesting Bot lane does seem like they've been getting a pretty decent push. That's where the camps are naturally taking her. However, Belveth does want to get that unlocked form by taking those void neutrals. I think it would be a good idea to try to play for some grublings, as we see Primus doing what he does best, ganking mid lane. Flash coming out, gonna knock up Nicholas. Nicholas going to ult, but stunned up before he can actually take the ult to the other side. First blood from Katarina, and you would think, I don't know, but you would think that would be being communicated from the bot lane of Rivals that, hey, yep. And it does look like Belveth doubled back to try to play for these Void Grubs. What I was trying to say with those Void Grubs is you'd like to see at least 4 go towards the team that has Ziggs, especially when that team has Belveth. Because you're kind of just double dipping. As Husky just deciding to walk right up into the Alistar. Nicholas taken to about 10% HP and will be slain by Dure. And so that's 2 back-to-back quick deaths by Nicholas. You see Tom Kench going to force out Slippy's flash. Decent play by BKs to do that, as a Void Grub will be stolen by Tim Tuff. Gank does not have flash, and a great ultimate coming out from Slippy. BK is doing his best to keep his jungler alive. Slippy is probably not even going to go down, and that's going to be 2 kills and a 5-0 kill lead for Jolly Rogers. And I might have done it. I might have jinxed them. And it's a two-way problem, because if that does happen, you have to be aware as the jungler, hey, I got 2 grubs, perhaps I'm staying too long, because I got no pressure on the map right now. I think that was just trying to get greedy and secure that 3rd one. Unfortunately, doesn't work out for Rivals. And so now about a 3k, call it 2.7k gold lead for Jolly Rogers, only 8 minutes and 30 seconds in. And it's a team that really doesn't want to be put behind too much early for Rivals, just because I feel like the comeback mechanics within the comp are kind of low.
Zap action. Pierce the sky and watch the stars.
Nicholas just having a tough time. Durag actually gonna be forced to flash away from Sauce, who was coming to try to cover his mid laner, but Nick's gonna have to back. And while Rivals might be able to pick up the scuttle, I don't think they're gonna be able to contest this Drake, as we see a fight break out. Gank immediately having to flash out. Sauce getting a pretty decent Morgana ult. The Jinx Rocket goes wide, but Gank will go down to Tim Tuff. Reset coming through for this Viego. Sauce will go down in turn. Husky forced to flash out. And then on the top side, Sloppy getting the solo bolo on BKs. Sloppy play by BKs. That's where my mind was. And it's just a disaster on the map. 4.5k lead for Nick. He's just trying to ult to shove the wave. I think maybe fat finger dick. I don't know. It goes from bad to worse. It's not just not looking good, it's looking pretty bad. I would say almost dire. If another skirmish or team fight or basically anything else goes Jolly Roger's way, it's going to be really hard for this team to come back because you're going to have a Ziggs that's trying to scale, an Aurora that's already set behind. Your team fight isn't the cleanest. It's kind of hard to navigate as compared to the previous two drafts. And, I mean, what do? How do you come back? Yeah. One of their moms kicks them off the computer for the night. I don't know. Yeah, and I mean, really, honestly, as Nicholas is getting engaged on by Duray once again, BK is trying to stop the bleeding, but won't be able to do anything. Duray might be caught out here. BK is finding the slow. Great ultimate from Slippy on the Rumble, and BK will fall, and that's a 10-0 lead at 12 minutes. Rivals is just seems to be falling apart in the face of this never-ending onslaught from Jolly Rogers right now.
Feel my fury with your skin and face.
Everybody's strong right now for Jolly Rogers as Nicholas being engaged on. Duray's ultimate coming through. Nicholas doing all he can to dodge out the rest of Duray's damage. Nicholas ends up going down. That's an 11-0 lead for Jolly Rogers.
Yeah, what's tough for Rivals, you have a Jinx on the side of Jolly Rogers, which isn't even online yet, so it's not like there's just a we're down by a lot, but we can scale to the very end on the side of Rivals. It is not really going to get any easier. Katarina's going to be a
great two-man knockup coming out from 3 minutes while Gank is being engaged on by Tim Tuff and crew, as Sauce will be able to stay alive despite the excellent play coming out from Sad Boy Hours and Primus. Ignite being used, but I mean, Husky gonna be the last Rivals member to fall. That's a death on everyone. That's a 13-0 lead. 13 minutes in, a kill a minute for Jolly Rogers, and it should only get worse as this game goes on.
Yeah, it is not looking good. You would hope that there would be one thing going right, that Rivals could push.
As Gank is just gonna walk into his death. It's gonna be another kill picked up for Jolly Rogers.
It's almost looking like Rivals might be ready.
Turbo shock rockets.
Early bedtime.
Yeah, this best of 5 might just be done after 3 games. It's looking pretty dire.
Every game's winnable. Every game's winnable.
Yep.
This is a commanding lead by Jolly Rogers, and they are very interested in going to semis.
Well, and you know, for as much as Rivals has played sloppy, especially the first 2 games, I mean, Jolly Rogers has known their game plan and has executed that game plan. They played to the win cons. They haven't overforced. They know when they are in the advantage, when they're not. And you know, despite some hiccups, they played really clean across these 3 games, and you expect more of the same to close out this deciding game 3. Primus getting the knockup onto Nicholas, won't be able to find the knockback. Primus might actually go down, and does. Nicholas on the board. We're not getting perfect game today.
Winnable. Yeah, I
But
feel
yeah, I mean, like I said, the comeback mechanics in terms of Rivals Rejects comp, you can, pray for a crazy Morgana binding, or maybe Jolly Rogers gets a little bit too full of themselves with this lead they've made, but I mean, Game can't even walk into his jungle. Tim Tough, this whole series has been showing his jungling prowess, kind of the tempo setter for Jolly Rogers as Nicholas just goes down, and Dure looking very, very comfortable on this Katarina.
Alright, am I allowed to give my completely biased excuse? As long as I give a disclaimer for it?
I mean, are you gonna say that there's no Katarina games on Dure's P?
No, I don't know if there is. There probably is. No, it's his most played champion, actually.
Oh,
No.
that's gotten dead.
Games like this are tough. I mean, all respect to Jolly Rogers, especially, and their captain. Easy to deal with, easy to work with.
Courageous Giga
And they're whooping us hard, so that's all completely earned. As we see a bot lane potential fight here.
Gank might get the knockup. It does get the knockup on Sad Boy Hours. I just don't know if there's enough damage to actually end up. Actually, the shutdown does go to Ziggs, who is the champion we wanted, but Dure is here and he has some things to say. You might kill my Jinx, but I'll take the rest of your team. DK CPing in to try to salvage the play. Might actually get the Katarina. Gonna spit her out. Expect the knockup to come from iGank. Shutdown for iGank, and Phoenix will go down soon as well. Yes, they will. Double kills for iGank on this.
So
Belbeth
you're
at
saying
a
there's a chance.
shutdown on the Viego from Nicholas in the middle.
That's. Yep.
We forgot about the Jinx Rocket.
We always jokingly say
always
watch out for
something.
Jinx Rocket, but it actually existed there.
It did indeed.
Unfortunately,
So
still
Jolly-
a breath of life
bravery
though.
shield.
Small breath.
Yeah.
Small breath.
8.5k though for the side of Jolly Rogers here at the 18-minute mark. Still keeping up with their 1 kill a minute pace. But you know, you did see some sloppy play will lead to sloppy results if you are Jolly Rogers, despite this huge gold lead. But maybe that's the wake-up call they need to finish out this game 3 cleanly, or maybe they feel a little bit of pressure after some plays go awry. We'll have to see.
Now, see, I think this is the first time that Jolly Rogers is going to take the second track first anthem. I mean,
First and second
how far
drake,
ahead they are, it's kind of free. Belbeth can finally walk into her jungle a little bit, but I don't know. Is the lead too far?
Jolly Rogers doing their best to end this game as quick as possible, keeping Gank out of his jungle, making it impossible to farm safely for pretty much anybody. And you know, Rivals doing their best to pick up gold where gold is. BKs might actually find Dure. We'll have to back. Oh, finds the ultimate on Katarina. Primus does the smart thing and tanks for his mid lane Katarina. But BKs is a beefy boy and won't go down easily. But the Jinx Rocket and the Viego ultimate will find their mark. BKs goes down. Gank will be soon to follow. 20-5, 10k gold lead. Herald being dropped. Do you think they make a push for a 20-minute inhib?
I think Morgana and Ziggs maybe try to.
It's gotta be careful.
Tough with
Primus is
Katarina.
looking for the. Oh, Primus flashing, unable to find the knockup on Husky. Husky ulting to try to clear out the wave, but Primus will go down with Nicholas's ultimate. Nicholas has to be careful as Dure playing forward, finding Husky into a succession, and a huge ultimate coming out from the Rumble. Everyone's burning, burning, burning. BKs goes down. Sad boy hours only, autoing Nicholas. That's an inhib. That's 3 kills. That's 23-7. That's 11k gold, and holy moly, is Jolly Rogers cementing this series.
Yeah, this is the most demanding lead early. Jolly Rogers pushing on the gas. Yeah, they want a 3-0. They don't want no chances of going anymore. Don't need to go any more games. Late night on whatever day this is, Monday night. Yeah, it's Jolly Rogers in the driver's seat. Only way they lose this, I think, is if they throw it. Tough for Rivals to get back in this one.
Yep, I agree. But we will have to see if Jolly Rogers can cleanly end this game. I mean, you have to like what you see from Jolly Rogers. They know they have pretty insane gold lead, and they're just always putting in the face of Rivals, making every bit of gold Rivals tries to contest a nuisance to do so, as we see the Baron immediately started up 4 members of Jolly Rogers on this Baron. Now I will say, they did a good job about setting it up, so they'll see an approach. But a Baron flip would be like one of the ways you could throw, but they're making sure that there's no contest as BK's Abyssal Voyage is away. Sorry, it's Abyssal Dive now, not Voyage, as Primus being that nuisance that he has been.
Two
The
bowling balls
Alistar.
at each other.
Yep, as he's going to be headbutting BK's too slippy on this Rumble. Who is 205? BK's does have eye gank waiting in the wings. Might be able to turn this one actually. Lots of damage will come up. As Slippy does find a really good ultimate. And in fact, we see Sauce go down in the mid lane. We see Gank almost go down. We see BK's goes down. We see Jolly Rogers just, oh wow, lots of damage onto the Viego. Viego actually will fall between the ultimates of Nicholas and Husky. So this mid lane tower might actually go down. I thought it was a guaranteed for thing. Top tier 2 will go down as the eye gank is back for more. But really can just watch as the map base crumbles. Husky just stepping up to a Katarina that he has no business stepping up to. 26-8. We've surpassed the minute kill ratio, yeah. Primus looking for another engage. It's gonna be the second inhibitor to fall, and
they have the Baron. Do they risk it?
yeah, they might just stick around and try to end in 20 minutes. Well, let's see, 24. Sigurd, play safe, back off, use the pressure that they've secured themselves to secure another free dragon. $14,000 gold lead. And it looks like ending the game is all but inevitable.
Yeah, this one is going to be very tough. Maybe we get a pick from Rivals. Maybe Jolly Rogers completely puts too much ego in their head and they do something crazy, but Jolly Rogers macro has been pretty good across all 3 games, so I don't see them throwing this one.
I think they're at the point where even if they just did something crazy, it wouldn't matter, as BK is going to be the next to fall, as 5 members of Jolly Rogers are converging on his location. And for all you seafood lovers, that's a fried catfish. It's not even, is catfish a seafood? I guess there's saltwater catfish. Jolly Rogers might not even have to play for the next Baron. They might just play to end as they have a
Yeah.
mid-wave pushing. Primus looking for an engage. We'll find eye gank. Ultimate will come out from Rumble. Sauce being taken extremely low. Ultimate coming out from the Jinx. Killed secured by Tim Tuff on the Alistar. Everyone's going down. Husky's throwing bombs. They're tickling the other team. Husky will go down to the Katarina. Triple kill for Dure. BKs will be knocked up. Primus taken low, but will not die. And that will be a 3-0 series win for Jolly Rogers. They will be advancing to the semifinals of Metashift Neon.
Yeah, and all credit to them. They came to play. Rivals, this is absolutely not to take away from Jolly Rogers. They were the better team for sure today. We put Rivals Rejects in this league knowing it is a little bit of a higher elo than our roster, to get some practice for some other stuff. So I don't blame any of my guys because it's all for fun and practice. So, but yeah, Jolly Rogers advancing. They were the better team. They played very well today. And yeah, any final remarks for the 3-0 now semi-finalists moving forward?
Hopefully Rivals Rejects had a fun time the rest of the split. Obviously, you're not going to have fun when you lose in that kind of fashion. But, you know, it was a long season, and hopefully they grew as players. We'll be interested to see how Jolly Rogers do as they continue on from quarters into semis. I think from what they've shown, are obviously a solid team. I will spend the last little bit of our stream playing that Christmas Clash yet again. If you guys are interested and you have time on the 14th, this Saturday, you're Emerald 4 or lower, and you have a team you want to play with, we are hosting a one-day tournament. Cody making it real big for you. It's our first annual Christmas Clash. Will be fun. One-day tournament hosted by us. Cash prize for those who enter and win. Anywhere between 2 and 7 games, depending on how well you do. And yeah, it'll be fun. Lots of special surprises for the stream as well. We'll be a little bit more, how you say, polished for the event. So even if you don't sign up, it'd be cool just to see you guys there. Come hang out, have some fun, see some teams battle it out for Christmas Clash champion.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it.
But that is that. Unless you have any final words, that is a commanding 3-0 victory for Jolly Rogers. And we hope you all have a good rest of your night. And we will see you all when we see you all later.